This is John Poshesnik with Sarek Doctors, and we're looking at a case posted on the website. The doctor that posted this was having some concerns with the biocopy proposal. It looks like we're doing 6 veneers from 6 to 11, and he stated when the proposals came out, he was having to adjust interproximally quite a bit, even though he had a good copy image and a good copy line. I've seen this a few times, so maybe we can go back and take a look and see what's going on. Now, unfortunately, this case was done on a previous version. We're running 4.4 software here, and this was done on a previous version, so if I unlock anything, we'll lose that proposal and get it to recalculate. So we'll just go back to our model step, and we will need to kind of force the software to reset. So we'll come here to our model axis, and if we adjust this just ever so slightly, it'll unlock this and it'll recalculate the proposals from the fresh start. So we'll see what happens. The margins have already been done. What we see immediately is potentially a barrier to this case is the insertion axis is really giving us a strange initial proposal. So we're going to have to adjust that considerably. And when we do that, and we move to the next tooth, insertion axis, again we're having to adjust that considerably. Now this can make it very difficult for these adjacent units to line up, and this is something that could be solved by adjusting the model axis a bit, but we'll continue just playing with this just for this particular. We can see exactly what's going on. Now as I'm continuing to manipulate these just to get the proposal to not have too much undercut, we can see that along most preps we're having a little bit of undercut at the margins, and that can definitely cause some issues when we're dealing with super thin veneers like this. We end up with any overmilling that could make the porcelain too thin, and forget margins, there is no overmilling. So just for the purpose of this exercise, we'll go ahead and continue through and see if we can figure out what was going on for this doctor. We'll hit OK, and then the last tooth, insertion axis, and that one actually lined up pretty well. Okay, so our copy line has already been drawn, and we'll just double check this everywhere. And it looks like in this tooth, copy line is nice, went all the way into that interproximal area, capturing all of the good data possible. On tooth 10, when we look at the copy line, again, we're nice and into the interproximal areas here. I would definitely want to smooth this copy line out a little bit. We don't want any sharp transitions on our copy line when we draw that. And since we're working off of a diagnostic wax up, I would bring this back here. Now your wax up probably should have included all the way across to the cingulum area, covering all the way back there just to make this nice and even, because now on the proposal we will have to adjust that area. Looking at the copy line on number 9, again into the interproximal areas really nicely. Maybe you would even try to push that back just a little bit more and smooth out this little area. And then tooth 10. So number 8, here we've got a little bit of a squiggly line on our copy line, and it's also not quite all the way into the interproximal area. So that's what I'm doing here. Really forcing it in there. This is a little bit of bad data, so don't be surprised if in this area the proposal comes out with a little bit of a rough area that needs to be contoured interproximally. Again, on tooth 7, the same situation. Really making sure to capture all of the good data within our copy line that I can. And then finally, tooth number 6. So here we definitely want to force that copy line to go more into the interproximal area to really give us the best chance of capturing all of the good data. Try to round off that sharp angle there. And again, the same right here. Okay, so let's move forward to our design. Now this will propose all 6 of our restorations at the same time. So these last 2 restorations are proposing snapping into place. And what I'm looking at is, other than this nasty little goober, which is most likely due to an improperly drawn copy line, interproximally we have pretty nice contours. Need to adjust just a little bit, smooth those out, add a little bit to these contours here, add a little bit here, but really we ended up with much better interproximal contacts. Now, unfortunately, again, I was not able to see the initial proposals that you obtained, but I can guess that probably were a little bit, I've almost seen them look like boxy contacts before, when the copy line isn't drawn all the way interproximally, or when you have bad copy data. Let's move back to the model really quickly on tooth 10 and see what we can figure out about. It looks pretty good. We'll try to trick the software into giving us a little bit better proposal. Let's go back to the design and see when that reproposes what it looks like. And we may need to adjust number 9 slightly to alleviate that issue also. And there we go. We got a nice proposal. So we'll go back to our model step. And let's go ahead and adjust our copy line ever so slightly. So we still end up with this really tough initial proposal, and I'm really willing to bet that this goes back a bit to the prep. When we're looking at our prep of this tooth, we can see where the margin is drawn, and maybe that's imaging, maybe that's prep. Let's redraw the margin slightly and see what we can get just for the heck of it. Let's move forward. See what our design looks like after refining the margin a bit in that area. And there we go. We ended up with that kind of funky looking initial proposal because that margin was drawn right along an area that had a irregular spot, and the software just freaked out and didn't quite know how to deal with it. So again, looking at this case overall, I would venture to say that these preps could be refined ever so slightly to alleviate some of these undercut areas. Again, when I look straight down this tooth, it's hard for me to see the margin all the way around. So I would re-prep just ever so slightly, get those margins nice and smooth where you can define them a little bit better, and redraw your copy line just the way that I showed you, and that should help with the initial proposals.